Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a number of things to read on. First of all, the new stimulus plan that was passed and is signed today. Yay! I want to read on that. Um, you know, I get as concerned about inflation as anybody else does, but the fact of the matter is, in Trump's administration, he there was a huge tax cut for the very wealthy that went through right away. And that cost us trillions and keeps costing us. And there was another stimulus package regarding the pandemic, the most of which went to the big businesses. So this one's going to the people, which is very, fortunate, which is very fortunate. And there's some amazing things there. So Spirit, tell us about this. Is this going to be a good, a very effective intervention for a lot of families? What's going on with this stimulus package? Heart of the matter, we have the Lover's card. So, yeah, people are in agreement here. It's possible because we have Democratic president and House and Senate. So that's why, only way it's possible. Oh, the stars have aligned. Okay, we have the Hermit for the challenge card. So, okay, the challenge is, I feel like, yes, it will help a lot of people, but there are those who are outside of the system that are going to have a hard time accessing this. So, right, we have to pay attention to those who are homeless and who do not have an address. Yes, we've got to be careful to there has to be efforts to reach our homeless population, which has been increasing and increasing. Okay, underneath it all, we have the Death card. Right. I feel like that is about Biden's speech, and he's acknowledging the deaths and the losses in our country and acknowledging that we've had huge losses. And he's doing so with empathy, and it's so strange, isn't it, to hear that now. It's factual, right? We know what the numbers are. We know we've lost so many people, well over 500,000. And yet we had a president all this time who was downplaying it or outright lying about the losses. Certainly not willing to talk about it. So it felt a little bit like we were in alternate reality a little bit. So to hear the president say these things, it's sort of like, for me, it feels like, oh my gosh, it has been this bad. It's like, wow, we should have been talking about it like this the whole time. So just the fact that we have a president who is taking it seriously and who is saying, yes, there have been many losses here, huge losses. And he's saying it's like wartime losses. He compared it to losses of soldiers, and to hear that is, I don't know about all of you who live in the US, but my brain is trying to play catch up a little bit. So that's interesting. So the fact that, it feels like a remarkable piece of legislation, right? It feels like, holy moly, it's going to lift half the kids out of poverty that are in poverty. Wow. You know what I mean? It feels like huge to us. But also, a cup of water feels amazing to somebody who's been wandering the desert for a couple of days and is parched, So that's, I guess, what we're looking at here. This is appropriate. It's appropriate. It feels big, but it's appropriate. And in fact, we need to remember many countries have been providing a monthly stipend to individuals, especially those who did lose jobs, above and beyond unemployment insurance, So there we go. Above it all, we have the Ace of Cups. Very emotional. Our cup runneth over. Wow. I feel like in some ways, as an American, I feel like it feels weird to me that there'd be a helpful stimulus check that would actually be quite helpful. Not a little bit helpful, but actually quite helpful. It feels, and we're just not used to being treated that way. We're just not used to this. And my concern is that maybe some Americans will buy into what the Republicans say. Oh, we can't just print money. We can't just, even though they've been printing, and I mean, the printing presses have just been whirring, right? It's digital money, but you know what I mean. It's been the huge tax giveaways to the rich in 2017. And then the big stimulus, the first stimulus was larger than this one. And it was, like I said, somehow mostly went to people who were already quite wealthy. So, they gobbled up all the payroll protection, PPP. They gobbled all that up before a lot of the little businesses could get it. So anyway, we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. In the immediate future, we have the Chariot. So, okay. Ooh, this is just the beginning. What I'm hearing is this is just the beginning. Now we're taking off. We're taking off. These are programs that are the blueprint. They're the precursors to bigger things that Biden has planned that will be permanent. Or at least, permanent, bigger things. He does indeed plan to help parents have children, raise children. There is a payment or tax credit, I don't remember which, quarterly for parents of children, minor children, and it is based on dependent on income. I do think this is a situation too where if the couple makes over 160 or the single person makes over 100,000, they don't get it. But so it is more targeted. But this is a program that will, like I said, it will lift half of all kids in poverty out of poverty, and maybe it makes it easier for people to have kids in the U.S. and not run into financial ruin because they've had children. So, I've mentioned the millennials are having 1.2 children so far, and Gen X had 2, boomers had 2.5, something like that. So, yeah, that's a huge problem, heading toward that demographic cliff. We're going to have a hard time taking care of our elderly and supporting this economy without enough workers. So we actually really do need to encourage people to have children here in the U.S. And in the U.S., they've, of course, made it hard as it could possibly be. 6 weeks of unpaid, if you're lucky, maternity leave for mom, not dad. And that's it, you kind of have to hope that your boss doesn't count it against you that you have kids and doesn't damage your career too much, because, boy, you're on your own there for everything, unless you meet certain income guidelines, low enough income that you could get subsidized preschool or, school lunch program or things, some helps, but not big helps either. So here we have it. He is going to be tackling that issue, I believe, which is amazing. And what's the other main? Healthcare. Okay. Those are the two. Those are the two with the Chariot. It's healthcare, and it's trying to support the children of America. That's what it is. Those are the two main agendas he's got. Wow. And this is the precursor. So We have the temperance angel for gradually. Things will get done gradually. Okay. And that is, please, we're happy that we're moving in the right direction with this, but know that it is still a gradual process and do not become discouraged when that makes itself known. All right. We have the Knight of Coins. So, right, the biggest thing, one of the biggest thing Biden is doing that doesn't get so much press is what I'm hearing is he is filling departments with dependable people. All of the work he's had to do to fill vacant positions, get rid of some Trumpers, put in people who really know what they're doing. Not to say that everybody Trump appointed didn't know what they were doing. Trump surely appointed plenty of people who had good credentials, but there were some, right? And that is going to actually do more in the long run than even the stimulus is. Okay, so there again, his experience in government is helpful. Okay, and then we have because he's like, we've had departments hobbled, right? We've had governmental officials and governmental employees that weren't at the top, that were through the other layers of the government. We've had them restricted. We've had them hobbled. We've made it difficult for them to do their job under Trump administration. And now he's removing that. So then all this army, we have an army of excellent people and policies and departments. And sure, bureaucracy is sometimes red tape we don't sometimes like, but really we have a lot that's been built up and now it can work. Hopes and fears, we have the Sun. Yes, we do hope it's a better day. And outcome, 3 of Coins. It's a good start. So this stimulus package is definitely a good start. Clarifier, 4 of, we still got to watch the 4 of Coins. That's greed, right? We have to watch because we really have been a culture of greed is good, right? Yeah, so our government has worked very well with the money hoarders. Okay, but there's Biden. He's going to continue look at he's looking off in the distance. He is untroubled by, he is not going to listen to him. I think he's not going to listen to him. Only as much as he absolutely needs to. But he's not. I think this is good. This is really, really good, you guys. Yeah. I do wonder about inflation, though, don't you? I do have to spend a minute here. Because, especially the spending that went before, it's just, if you've seen the charts, it's ridiculous. And our dollar cannot possibly be worth as much in the future. Let's see. Well, we got the Hierophant. The government knows this. Okay. And it is upright. Government working, 10 of Coins. There's a lot of wealth in this country. A lot of established wealth. Strength. Okay. I feel like this is saying, and I felt this too, you guys, that we don't need to worry about anything quickly. Sure, there may be inflation, but don't think we're going to have a collapse of currency. We're not. Some of the more alarmist kinds of headlines no. I think there will need to be an answer to this. However, this is going to have to be a worldwide answer because we have many economies printing money. We have inflation, sort of begging for inflation in many economies, not just the U.S. In fact, there are economies in Europe that are in a more precarious position regarding this than the U.S. is. So what I'm hearing is there is going to have to be, there will be inflation. Sure, there will be. But at the same time, I do believe we're having a government that's a bit more responsive to people's needs. All the growing pains is what I get concerned about, the growing pains in the next 10 and 20 years. There will be growing pains, But I think there's going to be some sort of global agreement. Not that all countries get an equal vote in it or anything, but 6 of coins. People have said it feels like we're heading to some new way of doing money. Just like in last mid-century, it was divorced from the gold standard. And with cryptocurrencies and governments trying to develop their own cryptocurrencies, 7 of coins, it's still there will be, right, those are the growing pains. People not feeling like they have enough, not feeling secure enough. But there's that stability again. Oh, the Queen. This is the Queen. This is the Queen. This is about the UK. Yeah, this will be done in partnership. The US, the UK, and allies, and all allies. Yeah. Well, gradually. Okay, so it's sort of like, I feel like the world leaders start talking about this. And different world leaders kind of get on board gradually with it. There will be, some people call it the Great Reset. Is that appropriate? Be careful about what you hear. That's 7 of Cups. Be careful about what you hear. People are guessing right now at this point. They're guessing. Okay. So, yeah. What in the future? Yeah. I just feel like King of Coins, and be hopeful, be hopeful. I do think there will be growing pains. I do. So it is a good idea to ask Spirit, to check with Spirit regarding your own finances, to really, truly do that. Even a matter of asking yourself, your higher self, asking Spirit before you make purchases. That's all right too. Asking Spirit to lead you, listening. If you feel you are, to learn more about this or learn more about that. So, right, we've got, take care of your own finances, because I do think there will be growing pains, but I do also believe we'll get on the other side of that and get to a place where currency is stabilized, and the reality that technology should be making humanity's life better. If it weren't for these vast income inequalities, it would be. That idea will bear fruit. Will bear fruit. Where yes, we don't need to have people starving. We do not need to have people in want. We do not need to have people working 70, 80, 90-hour weeks. We don't need to do that. So, not to say there will be a utopia, but I think we will be eventually moving toward taking better care of humanity. All right. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Yeah. Every time I check in, I still see that as the most likely outcome here. But yeah, the growing pains. Watch the growing pains. We've got to watch for the growing pains. It's not time to start celebrating yet. All right. Well, I thank you all so very, very much. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.